defensive capabilities coming out from Edu and you want to slow down the match, you can definitely go that way. And if you can start getting something like the Golden Go set up, it definitely could be difficult. Though, Davide, it isn't even a setup one. We're going choice specs right out the gate. Edu has the setup on his
ja, schon kein Bock mehr.
Two very bulky Pokémon coming out for Davide here. Gonna have to
Haben wir letztens drüber gesprochen, Richard? Weil, hab's wieder vergessen. Irgendwas umgeht den Dings.
And that Golden Go is one of those Pokemon that if you're not committing into something like the choice specs or the metal coat, it is something that you
Status
really
Moves,
need
genau.
Status
Moves gehen da durch.
Staring down the Tinglu over on the opposing end. So this
Genau.
doesn't feel so good. Since Edu does have the nasty plot variety that can be setting up, you can go ahead and go for that. But you also have to be careful about just the Tinglu on the other end, whether with its Ruination or a Sandtomb to keep you trapped in. But you won't have to worry about it this turn with the Fake Out.
Yeah, Tinglu kept in check here as Golden Go
Nasty Plot kann easy drücken, weil Jorn, da kann ich Jorn werden.
Doesn't have to worry about anything this Dondozo is running. It's not running Earthquake, for example, instead opting for something like Yorn, and that can't affect.
Aber drückt Instant Wave Crash in den Golden Slot. Das ist crazy. Aber es geht noch mit. Mit Leftovers in the back.
Definitely the driving seat is all about Golden Go going into this next turn.
With the amount of damage that we've gotten to see Dondozos do in the past when it has the commander boost with the Tatagaris, that is definitely underwhelming. But of course, when you have just the Dondozo and no boost, well, then you definitely have to be giving that up. Of course, you want to make sure that you are pressuring the Golden Go and you're not allowing it to set it for free, but it still kind of feels like it was relatively for free in that turn. And you have to be so careful of that going on forward.
Yes, the Incineroar now in a position where it
Raizor
definitely
schaut
doesn't want to
Pokémon
take something like a Wave Crash from this Dondozo, so wouldn't be surprised to see Eduardo maybe try
to
predicted
go
for something like a Parting Shot and just try and negate some of the pressure that the Dondozo can be dealing with those potential Wave Crashes.
Stark von Eduardo, stark.
Goes for a second nasty plot, so it now has to have the target on its back.
Ja, glaube ich, haben mit einem Protect gerechnet.
Into the Dondozo, just going to try and pivot out the field so that you have that fake up pressure and intimidate for later, as well as providing the opportunity to bring something in from the back that's going to be able to support this Golden Go.
Aber irgendwas kriegt jetzt halt Dings rein.
And now having something that can help support you like this
Yawn.
Rillaboom is great. This Rillaboom does actually put a lot of pressure over onto Vide's end. And the +4 now Golden Go is just on top of that. Ruination will connect though into the Rillaboom and bringing it down to half health. Always brings it down half. And it is also going to be Yawn. Rillaboom is a Pokemon that likes to be swapping in and out. So that is okay, but it does mean that you can't have the Fake Out this turn.
Yes, exactly. And the Ruination being a really nice way to just start chipping away very early on in a game at the opposing Pokemon, allowing some sweepers in the back in order to try and close it up.
Wir sind auch gegen Davide. Der spielt so ultra defensive A-Scheiße mit Sand to Bjorn, das ist richtig kacke. Aber es sieht ja gut aus für Eduardo. Sein Goldango ist big. Lass mich gar nicht vom POV baiten. Das ist so cap. Ich war mehr gegen die Leute in der POV als für.
Yes, and this is where we actually have a contrast in the playstyle.
Hab seine Plays nicht gehypt. Ach so, ja, ich habe gesagt, es ist ein starker Play. War ja kein Hype. Das hat er nicht gehypt. Hallo. Ihr wisst, wie ich bin, wenn ich was hype.
Rillaboom swapping out means that you won't get yawned and you won't fall asleep.
Hey, Kater.
Intimidate coming in will drop the attack from the Tinglu. Of course, oblivious from the Dondozo. You have to drop this the old-fashioned way with those parting shots. Protect this time from the Golden Go. You do have the Franco pressure for next turn, and you make sure that nothing's going to happen to Goldie Boy this time.
And this is what I mean. Eduardo is really doubling down onto this Golden Go and protecting it.
Big von Eduardo.
To not only, have that fake out pressure, but the potential parting shots again as well to ensure that Golden Go is going to be preserved on the field.
This Golden Go with all this recovery, it already just looks so good at even just preserving itself at this point, almost back to full. And at any point, Edu can just step on the gas pedal and start dealing out some powerful attacks. Even with the Vessel of Ruin, you do have that +4, and if you're not necessarily too worried, you can even just go for another one this time around. You do have to be worried that the more you're setting up, if you can get punished down the line, and there is two very powerful Pokemon in the back for Davide.
Damage needs to start rolling out soon though, because at the end of the day, Davide has literally not lost a point of HP at this point because of, leftovers recovery on Dondozo and that grassy terrain really coming into the forefront. Change of pace, however, as the gouging fire has joined the field.
Ich hoffe, der wird jetzt geshadowballt und getötet.
Boost up any tactical Pokemon that maybe Davide wants to switch in on the side if switching into a more offensive presence.
Fake out into the Tinglu means all you're gonna really get done is that fake out, and I guess the rock
geht auf +6.
as third nasty plot. This is a +6 golden go
Crazy.
at this moment, and you can start dishing out powerful make it rain, or even just go for something like the shadow ball when you're staring down something like the
Problem ist halt,
There's a lot of options for this golden go, and the
okay, muss, glaube ich,
pressure
Protect
definitely is against Davide to find a way to be
und
able
Parting
to,
Shot
work
into
around it,
Kai-Flamme machen.
because +4 is nothing to take a stick at, even if it wants to go for something like the make it rain. Yes, it's going to take that drop, and the thing is, you need to go for the nasty plus boost in the face of this Tinglu. The Vessel of Ruin really lowering the offensive pressure of that special attack, so golden go in a prime position. However, the gouging fire coming in, it has access to that heat crash, so you need to make sure that you're protecting the golden go from that.
And with the golden go being that Terry Farah as opposed to something like the dragon that would have been resisting that hit, it can still be a decent little chunk of damage there. Tinglu swapping out at this point in the match, it was not doing much, but it does mean that Vessel of Ruin is gone, so any special attacks coming out from this golden go are going to be at its full capacity, and that is something to be absolutely terrified of.
Very true, and
Terra.
particularly
Fee.
on the field, the golden go is going to drop its steel and ghost typing and go full out fairy mode instead. This does give it a little bit of coverage from this heat crash that is coming right down into the front. And
Trotzdem weh, aber ja. Da kommt ein
Dazzling
Dazzling Gleam.
Golden go actually opting for the Dazzling Gleam as the Dragonite has switched into the field.
That's crazy.
Wait, no Shadow Ball.
That's crazy.
Dazzling Gleam, double KO here on this turn, and of course,
Ja,
the
aber
Terra boost as well. It's not just a defensive
das
transformation,
halt,
but an offensive one as
ich glaube,
well.
das Joe war.
So caught up on
Wie kann er
everything
den?
about this golden go, and that is
Ich glaube
massive.
auch.
I've never seen a golden go built like this.
I almost forgot the Golden Go could even get Dazzling Gleam at this point. It's been such a hot minute since I've seen it come through.
Nee, der hat
What an
Innerfokus.
amazing turn for Eduardo, really having built up this Golden Go with those nasty flots, with the protects, and then able to go for this Dazzling Gleam. Not only get the KO on the gouging fire, but dropping that Dragonite before it's even able to show what it can do.
Yes.
And with
Gone.
the double KO, Davide down to his final two Pokemon, and the lead that just was not working out has to hit the field once again. Vessel and Ruin to weaken the special attack, but at this point, I don't really think that there's too much stopping this goal.
Ja, das.
Locking in, we're going to game 2.
Yeah, let's just kind of wrap that one up, move on
Gut.
and see what can happen in game 2. And I have to say, the way Davide came out very slow and steady at the beginning of this match, I actually quite like the way you had the Dondozo potentially able to go for these wave crashes, and it was dealing decent damage. The issue was the Golden Go straight out of the blocks. There wasn't a lot that Davide could really do to counter it. So coming into game 2, I want to see a more offensive and aggressive stance against that Golden Go.
The one thing about the Golden Go for Idu's end is it directly counteracts one of those modes that Davide has, specifically this Yon Dondozo. With Good as Gold blocking that, is a
Ich glaube, der muss halt Sand to Wave crashen, eigentlich
well,
instant in Monetigo.
Perfect counter from the gate. So if that's something you want to be trying to go for, you need to get past the Golden Go first. You do have offensive options on your team, and something like the Gouging Fire and Dragonite could be putting out a lot of pressure. Don't let him get set up in the first place. Since we do have the coverage of Ironhead on the Dragonite, you can force Idu's hand at, hey, if you Terra, I will Ironhead into your Terry Fairy Golden Go here. That one's a little tongue twister.
Oh,
and if you don't, Heat Crash will take you out.
You know what I almost would quite like to see is a Golden Go showdown. So basically, the Golden Go on a Davide side, it's
Ich dachte gerade, sie würden Golden Shower sagen. Was für Golden Go Showdown.
It's not going to be able to utilize any of those boosts. And at the same time, if it was to be maybe in the Terra Fairy mode, you can go for your own Make It Rain to apply a lot of pressure to it. It's a very board position heavy opportunity, but it does have the potential to find a way to gain a little momentum.
Erklär, was das ist. Das ist halt, wenn Gold aus der Dusche rauskommt.
If there is the opening for that, I think it could pay off huge.
Und der ist ihm in Zeitlupe.
The Golden Go is the one that you want to be bringing it in slow-mo. That just makes it hurt even more. The +6 Terra Fairy Dazzling Gleam from Golden Go.
Nee, Richard, woran denkst du denn, hä?
Often going on. Hey, it'll do all of that difference. That is something to be absolutely feared.
It's also a lovely way to not drop your special attack because, you know, in an alternate universe, if that hadn't been able to get the KO, at least you've still got all of the boosts ready up to be
Normalster VIP. Normalster Raizor VIP. Oh! Golden Go Showdown, oh nein!
and the Incineroar on Eduardo's side. So we could potentially see my dream come to life with the Golden Go checking the opposing one.
There's the
Stop!
That's going to have that Vessel of Ruin, so Golden Goes, they will be suppressed a little bit this time around, but you do have a way to be pressuring. And notably as well, Shadow Ball was emitted from
My dream come alive.
But from Davide,
Oh
with that
nein.
Shadow Ball, you do have a way to be pressuring right away, especially since you don't need a turn
crazy.
setting up. You have something right now. It is going to be that
Junge, Eduardo so.
setup from Edu, but trick into the Incineroar instead, trying to catch it off guard. There is no pick out there. You will get a Citrus Berry, a knockoff.
Crazy.
And that's a lot of damage.
Eduardo hat ihn wieder komplett an den Eiern.
You've kind of given up your choice specs for free here. The Incineroar is going to have to take a little bit of damage and will be locked into that knockoff though.
And the thing is here is you're hoping that going on to this turn that you can maybe catch it into a fake out and then trap it with the Sand Tomb. You would have an Incineroar that is
Politico ist schon wieder gone.
going on into this. The Golden Go now from Edu though has a +2 special attack and this Incineroar.
War da hat Goldengo jetzt nicht die Citrus Berry? Warum hat es sich nicht getriggert?
You just did to the Golden Go at this point. And Terrestrialization not safe because you're already such low health and this Golden Go can just absolutely bop you with something like a make it rain.
Genockt.
So you need to pivot out and find a new change now.
You need a plan B if you're Davide right now. The Golden Go on Eduardo's side is once again in prime position. It's got that nasty
geht jetzt einfach Terrafee, Dazzling, gewonnen.
The Incineroar is locked down, yeah, sure, but it really is the Golden Go you need to target. So bringing in the Gouging Fire is really nice in the sense you can apply that Heat Crash Pleasure, but you still have to worry about the potential damage.
Macht wirklich? Nein, oder? Nee, geht Terra.
Actually not.
Yeah?
Geht doch nicht. Ja, natürlich geht es nicht, aber es wäre trotzdem insane.
Europe loves
Aber geht Terra Ghost?
Terra Ghost Incineroar and Edu bringing that out. Make it rain. Not too much damage. It does have the +2, but Tinglu, that ability, putting in that work. And now one stage of lowered special attack. Knockoff, just good for a little bit of chip.
Ja, das war ganz gut von Davide. Aber feiern wir nicht. Ein Hater.
And so even if it does terrestrialize, it'll be iffy on whether it can survive through the next turn from a Heat Crash.
I actually really like this play by Davide, bringing in the Gouging Fire. You know there's no terrestrialization available on the Golden Go. That Heat Crash is going to be able to come through and do a lot of damage. And
Ich finde es so witzig, weil die Musik, die ausgewählt wurde, ist so westliche Zone 3 oder so. So wie die Hype-Musik. Was so die hypeste Musik, die wir vorstellen können, ist, ich glaube, so westliche Zone 3.
And the Golden Go is what you need to be taking out. You do have a powerful option in the back and the potential swap in of here. If you are eyeing up something like the Howl instead, maybe trying to take advantage of a potential, you know, passive turn coming out from Edu, that is it. This point now, with the Ghost Terra, that Incineroar and swap, and now Rillaboom coming in.
Yeah, Rillaboom bringing that recovery to the field as well with the grassy terrain, and once again the fake out action, which we've been seeing all weekend long. Tinglu retreating for Davide, so both trainers opting to switch up their ball position to gain some momentum. And I like the switch coming in. The Dragonite feeling a lot more comfortable now that the Golden Go has been neutralized, particularly when Eduardo goes for the Protect.
Oh, you see that smile on Davide's face. That Protect means that you get this Howl for free. +1 to not just your attack, but your partner's attack. And Dragonite needs that to really be putting on that pressure.
Dragonite kann nicht
fake-outet
werden. Gouging schon, der wird wahrscheinlich fake-outen. Und dann wird er sich jetzt hier einen Scale-Shot oder so in Wartroms Gesicht.
Neither Rillaboom or the Golden Go want to take any of these Heat Crashes, and Rillaboom can only fake out one of the opposing Pokemon. In fact, it can only fake out the Gouging Fire. Dragonite is running in a focus. You are not able to slow that Dragon down.
And that is where you can really start to ramp it up here in this game number 2. And this Dragonite was such a fun moveset, can put out the most pressure. Terra Steel as well, not the one you get to see too much. Instead, you maybe see a Terra Normal, but instead here, you have it as offensive type, and you also have it for Ironhead to be doing more damage. But it could be a different move here. I mean, we do get to see that it's a loaded dice. Fake out first, we get to see how that plays out. Great call from Davide. I mean, it is literally an Ironhead with an axe on top, but the scale shot is what is going to come through. Do a little bit of damage. 1,
Kriegt er 5?
2. We're going to see the third one into the Rillaboom. How many more? Because this could be able to get the full knockout. Is there going to be a fifth?
Ah, damn.
It's not a guarantee. You have to hold your breath a little bit at the end, but if you can get it, it feels so sweet. Pokemon hit 5 times, and Rillaboom can't survive. Defense is going to be dropped, but you do get that speed, and the Dragonite will be able to put more and more pressure. And with the Dazzling Gleam coming out, this is where we get to see that defensive Terastallization put in the work, doing barely nothing.
Aber könnte Incineroar mit Incineroar jetzt Gouging Fake outen? Aber da wird er wahrscheinlich Goldengo reinswitchen.
Taking a look at the Golden Go now, it's kind of in a difficult spot. You really ultimately want to get another Nasty Plot up in order to start dealing some big damage in return. But at the same time, you can't really touch the opposing Dragonite, and the Heat Crashes are something you're going to be very vulnerable to. I think it's a nice option here for Eduardo to bring in the potential Fake Out, just to slow down this Gouging Fire a little.
Aber Fake Out ist
wichtig. I'm not even worried about the Gouging Fire at this point, though. It's all eyes on this Dragonite. And you do have Pokemon in the back that if you are a little bit worried, you can switch it up. Then Terastallization has been spent on Edu's end, so you don't have to play a 50-50 game with this Golden Go. Something you do have to be watching out for is now that you have that Steel Terra, if the Incineroar decides to be foregoing something like the Fake Out, you could go for a Flare Blitz instead, and that is going to be doing a lot more damage, especially with that drop defense over on the Dragonite. This time around, all about stopping that Gouging Fire. Exactly. It is now Dragonite's turn to go for that Scale Shot and see if it can do the repeat and get another knockout. 2 down, 3 connecting in. If it is able to get to that 5th one, it's going to be a guarantee KO. It doesn't even need to. The 4th one cleans.
Das war wilde Roll.
Really seeing the impact of the first.
Aber ich glaube, Eduardo wollte sogar, dass er stirbt. Jetzt kommt hier ein Dazzling Gleam. Das sollte Gouging Fire killen, I guess.
Another defense drop, but it's starting to really pick up the speed.
Rain
just barely ate Hickle.
That's so underwhelming from the Golden Go when we saw the power potential it has in that Game 1. In Game 2, Davide has done a fantastic job of pivoting around it and making sure the Pokemon are coming in safer. Looking at the ball position here, Eduardo still has the 4th and final Pokemon yet to be revealed, but all 4 healthy Pokemon are there on Davide's side. And I love that we've really just ramped up the speed here in Game 2 coming on Davide's end. Because the Dondozo didn't offer much, and this Dragonite has been incredible. Now Raging Bolt, that 4th and final Pokemon for Edu, and it's something that definitely does not appreciate staring down the Dragonite either. Yes, it's definitely a sigh of relief knowing that the Golden Go has been completely locked down here. The Raging Bolt, though, it does have a few utility if we take a closer look. Something like a Dragon Pulse could get a little bit of damage down onto the opposing Gouging.
Link's Awakening.
And Thunderclap, I'll be honest, it's going to be so overwhelming at this point. You just have no way to get through this Dragonite. And the Dragonite, you can have all the defense drops in the world, but when you're staring down these 2 special attackers, it feels so...
Ja, Terraghost fand ich ja auch irgendwie nicht so geil.
Further going to be reducing the amount of damage coming out. Raging Bolt with the Protect, no damage coming out from that Paradox Pest, and now it's just the Scale Sod. It did target into the Protect, so it will stay safe this time around. Yes, Golden Go has a chance here to be able to get some damage on the board, and the way that it does this is by getting the Nasty Plot up. The fact that it had the Make It Rain dropped its special attack previously, and with Vessel of Ruin on the field, it's going to need every little bit of help it can get in order to start applying that damage. The issue you've got, as we've said before, is now this Steel-type Dragonite makes it so hard to get through. There's just so much bulk and brawn on it. Yeah, you're not really hitting it for much here if you're the Golden Go. The Make It Rain, the Dazzling Gleam, so cool, but this Dragonite with a perfect Terastallization. And now, since Raging Bolt did protect on the last turn, feels relatively safe to go for it. He attempted the double protection.
Ja, er ist für den Double Protect gegangen, jetzt nicht mehr.
1 in 3 in the Scale Shots. I mean, already the solo hits
Monetigo kann es nicht alleine gewinnen.
3, not quite enough actually. It will take the 4th. Yeah, it wasn't enough for the 3, but Dragonite's got it covered. It's feeling confident with that loaded dice to be able to get the rolls that it literally needs to get the knockout. It's taken 3 KOs now in this set. The last Pokemon in its sights, though, is going to be that Golden Go. And the Golden Go, I mean, the Make It Rain coming out from this point.
Das geht halt nicht.
I mean, it is a Golden Go. It will do a good little chunk of damage, but not nearly enough to be getting through this. Ruination now will bring it down half.
Sagst du, PR wäre bessere Abkürzung gewesen?
Oder
Po?
Because, I mean, when you take a look at it, there's not a huge amount Dragonite can generally do type-wise. You know, Extreme Speed can't do anything. It's a Ghost, Iron Head, and Scale Shot. Not going to do too much. So having the Ruination does help it out. But looking towards what I think is going to be an inevitable
halt erste Silbe, zweite Silbe, ne?
To keep this Golden Go really protected going forward. Because in this game, Davide did such a good job of completely neutralizing the threat.
I wouldn't even say protecting the
Ich glaube,
Golden
hier erst
Goal, but
Peru.
making sure that Davide is suppressed going on into this next
Aber
game.
Pro Ex hier
Because
glaube ich
this
nicht.
Golden Goal, it couldn't necessarily get totally set up. It did get a couple of nasty plots, but the biggest issue here, flinch coming out as well to really just add a little salt into that wound. The biggest issue here is Davide was able to set up a really good job bringing this Gouging Fire in, and a great swap from the Dragonite to take advantage of the Howl. And after that, there was no pressure really from Edu's end to really pressure on into that.
Definitely getting the boost has been critical throughout this set, whether it was on the Golden Go in game 1 or that Howl boost up by Davide. And the one thing I really want to credit from this game too is the way Davide really positioned his Pokemon, making sure that the Dragonite came in safely and enabling the Gouging Fire to also join and go for that Howl at the opportune moment, really giving him a lot more grit in this match. Going into a game 3, this is their tournament, EUIC run on the line here. They're trying to battle it out for the chance to be able to get into that top 8. Having a look at some of the leads here, we saw both of them bring the Golden Go front and center in game 2, but I would be very surprised to see that happen again. Davide applied a lot of pressure with this trick, with the choice specs, and it did stop Eduardo from maybe trying to lock into something like the fake out to be caught by that.
Looking at something that could check a little bit better coming out from Edu's end, right away my eyes are going towards that Urshifu. You have the choice Scarf to have that speed over on your end.
Also ja, mir geht's okay. Heute nicht so gut, mein Handy ist leider heute kaputt gegangen. Thank you.
You didn't really have a way to hit it super effectively, and the Dragonite was something you needed to deal with. Now, if there is the Terastallization from it forced out in game 3, and you have something like that Urshifu in the back, there's a lot of pressure, and the Urshifu matches up quite well into the other options that were brought as well.
The one thing I liked as well was the foresight of getting rid of the Incineroar early doors, shutting it down, making sure that it can't come in and use Fake Out later on as well. Just meant sure that when you go for this Terra Steel on the Dragonite, the fact that you get rid of this Incineroar, kind of negate the switch ability that it has, that then the Dragonite can really breathe easier throughout the rest of the set, and you can start targeting down these partner Pokemon. The Raging Bolt, I did like the fact that it was here, but it was definitely too little too late for Eduardo to bring it in, where it effectively could do nothing in the face of the Dragonite.
I think the only part that people liked about the Raging Bolt being there is for Raging Bolt haters.
Mein Handy ist.
It was very just influential in the match. It wasn't necessarily set up for success at that point either.
Von einer erhöhten Stelle auf die Kante von der Küchenzeile gefallen und es geht nicht mehr an. Also geht gar nichts mehr. Es flackert nur noch, wenn ich es anmachen will. Es vibriert noch, aber es flackert die ganze Zeit nur noch das Display. Das ist leider Ober und die Reparatur kostet irgendwie 300 €. 300 noch was Euro. Das ist leider super, super Arsch, aber ich hatte sogar eine Schutzhülle und wir brauchen ein Handy. Achso, wir brauchen ein Ausrüstung, ein Handy. Wer braucht ein Handy? Puerto Rico.
I kind of want to question the Ghost Terastallization as we go into Game 3, whether we're going to see it or not. It's the Incineroar and the Golden Go against the Golden Go and the Ting Lu again. So these players really sticking to what
Wolfie gegen Arsch gewonnen. Big.
Going on the first turn reminder last time. This is where we saw
Wir hoffen, dass es reicht.
Really cool tech from the Golden Go. Go into that Incineroar, trying to maybe lock it into a fake out instead something else. If you want to try and ramp up and go on the offense this time around, the Golden Go was something that Edu did leave kind of.
Wolfie ist jetzt gerade 9. Ne?
Could protect it this time, but that is something you have to
Aber es sind noch ein paar 12-2er.
I think the Incineroar got shut down though by the trick and then, you know,
Jo, wenn Wolfie als 9. rausbabbelt, eieieiei.
Pivoting Pokemon in and out to protect that Golden Go. Whether or not he's going to allow the Incineroar to fall for the same trap,
also noch einige
we will
12-2er.
have to see. Ting Lu could go for that Sun Tomb, but it could also go for the Ruination, start just lowering the HP bars of these Pokemon. The seconds are ticking down, however. Davide's got to lock those moves in fast.
Gotta make a decision, gotta make it now for tech from the Golden Go. It was unguarded last time around.
Michi hat verloren übrigens die letzten 3 Runden. Michi ist 33. gerade. Oh, es hat geklingelt. Luster.
Powerful KO to start things off, going awry. Parting shot from the Incineroar into the Ting Lu. A chance now to pivot into something in the back.
Yes, and you can see the Golden Go is locked into the Shadow Ball as well, so you know exactly who it was trying to target down, and there is no Terastallization used early doors by Eduardo, so that's good information for him in how maybe to protect this Golden Go better. Rillaboom joins the field as well. The Fake Out now is in position to go down into that opposing Ting Lu, but you've got to find a way to work around this Golden Go. The Shadow Balls are still going to be able to connect and do a lot of damage as the Sand Tomb locks in that Rillaboom.
Yeah, the Rillaboom being tracked at this point, it's just going to be a little bit of chip damage, of course, offset by the grassy terrain. I'm looking specifically at the Golden Ghost here too, because if you are expecting a Shadow Ball, you can go ahead and go for the Terastallization over on Edu's end. If you do expect maybe, hey, this Golden Go might try and swap, you can go for something else. It is choice specs on Davide's end, so no swap here says he does have to go for that Shadow Ball yet again.
Yes, it's guaranteed the Shadow Ball is going to be coming through, so there's a Terastallization into the Fairy type for the Golden Go on Eduardo's side. You could potentially have switched it out, maybe brought something in like the Incineroar that isn't going to worry about taking one of those Shadow Balls, but instead you could utilize the good opportunity you've been given to go for this nasty plot.
And if it wasn't a choice specs on the other end, there could have been the read and this could have been punished, but instead you have to be taking this hit. Nasty plot to get the +2 to your special attack, and that is a good little chunk of damage, but that's about it. Wood Hammer into the Ting Lu, super effective, bringing it down way low. You will get a little chip in return.
All of the chip is coming Rillaboom's way at the moment, but it's certainly having its say as well. The Sand Tomb coming down against that Golden Ghost, so it is going to be trapped in. You're going to have that little bit of damage coming through, but thankfully Rillaboom has brought the grassy terrain to the field so that recovery can be optimized as well.
And at this point here with Pokemon trapped, I'm looking at the fact that even with these speed tiers that we have seen Edu's Golden go first on a multitude of times. If I've missed one, my bad. But I remember all these nasty blood firing off first. A little bit of chip firing off. If you do get the chance to go for an attack, you could be good. And with no Shadow Ball possibility on Edu's end, the Golden Go, I think, to make it rain and a Dazzling Gleam either way.
I mean,
Auf plus wie viel ist Golden Go?
Pokemon on the field now. We can't switch them out. With the Rillaboom, it is running the Assault Vest, so it cannot protect, and it can then have to take damage from the Shadow Ball, although with the Assault Vest, that will help it out a little bit. Choice specs, however, I wouldn't be surprised to see it try and just try and get it off the field before it can utilize that nasty plot. Wise defensive play by Eduardo here. It's just whether Davide has locked into it.
Yeah, keep that one Pokemon safe as Shadow Ball. Putting the respect on Golden Go's name and putting respect on Edu.
So
making sure you're always firing off something in that slot. High horsepower.
Oh my god.
You don't see that one too often. The chances aren't quite the biggest, but body press not quite enough to pick up the KO.
High horsepower Miss auf Golden Go.
Why a lot of players have opted to maybe drop that
Das könnte GG sein.
Because even though the percentage is high, it's just generally speaking not always the most reliable in the moment that you need it in. It also means that Rillaboom now having to take that body press is in a very dangerous spot. Another body press can come through, and I think be enough to get the KO. I mean, easily with the sand damage there, easily get the KO, and then the Golden Go on Eduardo's side, not free from having to take the Shadow Ball.
Der geht aber mal bestochen.
There's no Shadow Ball in Eduardo's
Dabei hat doch gar keinen Mega Drain eingesetzt.
It cannot do super effective damage to the opposing Golden Go.
Yeah, you're basically looking at what damage is done kind of into the Ting Lu. So Golden Go kind of a little bit of a sitting duck there. Yeah. There could be the potential of the double up from both into the Golden Go on the opposing end onto Davide's end to try and do as much damage as you can. But it still looks a little bit grim, at least on this turn. Everything in Davide's control.
Yes, and Davide now has a couple of options. You can see the Pokemon that he's got in the back, that kind of powerhouse combination of the Gouging Fire and the Dragonite, and making the adjustment here, bringing the Ting Lu out. I think it's kind of done its job, using that Sand Tomb to trap the Pokemon in, and now you have the utility to bring in the Gouging Fire, use this boosted energy to get that speed up on the field and apply pressure going forward.
Especially, too, when we're looking at something like the Make It Rain, this takes the hit so well. Special attack drop on the opposing. I don't think that one will matter in the end with Shadow Ball firing off right afterwards. We saw how much damage it did before, and critical hit, well, we're going for overkill here, huh?
Yeah, choice specs coming in like taking down.
Und Eduardo hat keine Terra mehr.
And this is now a great position
David schon.
Yes, it's able
Als
to
Power hittet, immerhin.
manage to get the KO though, but it
Ja, er
will
ist trotzdem nicht happy.
to the sand damage it's going to take from the Sand Tomb.
This point with the Gouging Fire coming in, and you lost your Golden Go. This is something that you really did pressure going on for. Real tough. And Dragonite in the back here for Davide. You can start setting this up. And Incineroar will hit the field over on Edu's end.
And, you know, it looks like Rillaboom's actually been freed from that. You know, it hasn't had to take that sand damage there. It is now free to
Safe, Dave. 100%. Die machen das auch sehr gut.
Breathe a little bit of a sigh of relief, but it's a little bit difficult to do that in the face of these Pokemon. That Howl can come through. That's why Incineroar joining for Eduardo is nice to have that fake out to stop Dragonite from starting to steamroll at this point.
And you do have a priority move. You're worried about that speed, but at the same time, you're not really threatening either of these Pokemon here. And if you're going to be outsped by the potential of something like that gouging fire, a swap
Okay,
surely more
muss ich
just
Rillaboom
safer
aufheben.
thing, and a chance to see what Pokemon
Fake
he
out
has
auf.
back yet again will be that Raging Bolt. Have to see
Warte,
if
was
he
hat
can be
Davide
better
gedrückt?
poised this time around.
Nein, nein, nein,
Yes,
Davide hat doch
it's
nicht
coming in
Scale
a
Shot in
little
den
bit
Slot
earlier
gedrückt,
than
oder?
it was in that game too, so it has the utility to start dealing some damage, applying a little bit of pressure with something like a Thunderclap. That classic howl
Kein
coming through
Fokus.
from the gouging fire,
Kein
boosting up the
Fake-Out.
attack of both it and its partner Dragonite, and Dragonite in a prime position to use that Scale Shot and try to
Oh mein Gott, was? Wait a second.
Too often, and that is the loaded dice that are gone.
Holy shit, was?
And skill shot's gonna be less effective going on forward.
Ach
since the
du
damage was gonna be
Scheiße.
all over the place. And that skill shot put in the ultimate work in that
Ach
game
du
one
Kacke.
there. That is a devastating turn coming out from Davide.
That's
much
crazy.
less certainty for Davide now to click that button. You're not necessarily going to be guaranteed all of those KOs, so you might want to go for something a little bit more reliable.
Ja,
Try and
erst
push through with something like the extreme speed. Utilize the fact that you've got that howl boost already to get damage on the board and allow the gouging fire to clean up.
Das ist
You do have
crazy.
attacking capabilities with this gouging fire, and both of these Pokemon got the attack boost. And the breaking swipe is a sure hit onto both of
Also,
these. And the Raging
willst
Bolt
gerade gewinnen?
with
Hoffe Davide. Warum hoffst du Davide? Der spielt Tinglu Doso mit Santo Bjorn. Das fühlt ja niemand. Ich glaube, Davide gewinnt gerade, ja.
Yeah, it's guaranteed to get the 2. So thankfully for Davide was able to get the knockout. Didn't have to worry
Achso,
about
damit
those
Eduardo
dice
nicht
rolls.
mich
Yes,
überholt.
it
Ah,
but
okay,
the
okay, okay,
speed
okay.
will be all the rage.
Wir sind doch für Davide, Chat.
Incineroar goes for another knockoff. It already knocked off the loaded dice, so that's going to be dealing less damage.
And Dragonite, you did what you needed to do. The double up from both of these Pokemon just barely taking care of that. And
Ach so,
even
okay.
down to
Das ist
2
doch wieder für
final
Eduardo.
on the Rillaboom that was just on a sliver of health here. It's definitely going to be tricky. And with this, sure, you can swap out into a different move, so the Rillaboom might not even get the opportunity. And with the fact that you can't fake out into the Dragonite, you can't stop what's about to happen.
Eduardo is absolutely pinned down. The Rillaboom cannot protect. The Dragonite can easily go for the extreme speed, clean it from the field, and then it is all the remaining 3 Pokemon on Davide's side against this Incineroar. And there is so much utility that they have. Look how healthy that Gouging Fire is. There's not a lot that Incineroar can even do to it, whereas Gouging Fire can retaliate with the breaking swipes, even a Heat Crash in that side.
Gouging Fire with so much health. Looking Preserve it. Double Protect to over onto this
Double
turn.
Protect.
Scout out what Edu's doing. You see him shaking his head. At this point, you need any bit of momentum in your favor.
Aber warum will er den
Trying to
Fake-Out?
deal a bit of chip into this
Chip
Dragonite
damage.
on a Rye. Follow-up knockoff from Incineroar. The
Double
double up
Protect
into that.
ist echt scheiße.
And now, no priority from that fake out. And it's going to be a resisted Grassy Glad if you even try and go for that.
And I really like this double protect though,
Das ist
because
wirklich
even though
scheiße.
you can KO the Rillaboom, it stops your Gouging Fire from taking the fake out, then taking the knockoff from the Incineroar, and also enables it to get
Und
a
es
little
wird halt
grassy
wahrscheinlich wichtiger
terrain
Chip Damage gewesen
recovery, and
sein.
you can just
Nee,
click
das
that
gewinnt
extreme
er
speed
nicht mehr.
on this
Das
next
ist
turn without
over.
even having to worry about
Das
what
hat
might happen
Eduardo
to Gouging
verloren.
Fire.
One Pokemon closer to taking this match and potentially finding your way to top 8 here at EUIC. Breaking Swipe is
Wer
will be
ist das
single
Tinglu?
target
Zu
into
viel.
the Incineroar. It'd be a
Incineroar
slow,
gewinnt nicht
surely,
alleine
but the
gegen
Incineroar's not gonna be
Tinglu.
doing much in return. And Davide
Die
has
Night,
this
ja, es
basically
geht nicht
locked
mal.
up.
Yeah,
Selbst der
look,
Fake-Out
Davide
Damage
knows
hätte
he's
nicht,
doing his
hätte nicht
little
gereicht,
nods,
glaube
knowing
ich.
that he's just got to keep going through the motions here, targeting down against this Incineroar. It does have that
Der
little bit of
cancelt jetzt hier das
recovery
Battle.
with the terrain, but it really is just a matter of time, particularly if the Gouging Fire wants to help out with a little Howl here. Even if the Dragonite goes down after going for some damage here, the Howl will still benefit that Gouging Fire for the
Nein,
next
macht er
turn.
nicht.
You just need to make sure this Incineroar is not doing much, and you do what you can. Extreme Speed priority will act first. It will activate the Incineroar's Citrus Berry and burn that for this turn. Breaking Swipe, this is -3 now attack for the Incineroar, and it's not doing much. Back against the wall, knockoff will be enough
Ja,
for the
siehst du mal.
Dragonite, but still has so much more to go
Ja, ja, aber
And there is
safe
that
bricht es
tingling
ein.
in the back as well, that
Der Mist
Davide
war
can
wahrscheinlich
just
kacke.
bring
Auch wenn
in.
der Scale Shot
And
Mist
tingling
hat.
really has
Scale
kind
Shot
of
Mist
been
hat
the
er nicht
nemesis
wirklich
of this
gemerkt.
Incineroar throughout the set, being able to
Okay,
trap it
Tim
in with things
Edwards
like
ist auf jeden
Sand
Fall
Tomb and apply a lot of
safe
pressure
Top
with
8.
something like the body press. There is no ghost terrestrialization on this
Und Wolfie
Incineroar,
ist
so he
runtergedroppt
will have
auf
to take that body
11,
press.
den,
That's
auf den
what Davide
11.
wants to go for
Platz.
to close out the game.
Yeah, and we see the moves clicked. We see how fast he's going through with this. And this lone Incineroar, the lone cat over on Edu's end. First off, it's the Breaking Swipe.
Ja,
Just
Davide
that
hat halt
little bit of
übelst die
chip.
gute
King Loot Act. Might
Dings.
not get the chance to go for it. No, just kidding. We were doing no damage. We're
Win
trying to make it dramatic
Percentage.
here,
Der wird
folks.
safe
But the Rocky Helmet damage.
Top 8 sein.
Next up, it'll be that body
Genau, ab
press.
Top 8 ist
This
quasi
Incineroar is gone.
so
Davide to take the set.
Single Elimination
What
Turnier.
an amazing